Today, we're going to just listen to the track. I added something else which I got from GarageBand on my phone. And since I'm recording on my phone, I'm going to have to use my iPad to show you how to go about using GarageBand, which is a free app, and creating tracks. You even have instruments on GarageBand. So if you guys don't necessarily have a studio space, don't worry, don't panic. There are ways around this, and the solution is if you have an iPhone or an iPad, there are other apps that are being created on iPads and iPhones in order to produce tracks. And I know there's DJ apps too. So hold tight. I am going to manifest a vision with you guys. And let's go back into this. We are using Logic Pro X at the moment. We are creating a track that I've been kind of developing with you guys through each individual video. Hopefully you guys watch through to this point and see how we kind of develop the ideas and the theory behind it and why it's necessary to know a little bit about theory. You don't need to know a ton, but you need to know enough to understand where melodies change, what key signature you're probably going to be in, how to construct, unless you want to just rap and do like beats and stuff. The beats, you know, as long as you understand rhythm with beats, you could probably do rap on top of it. But when it comes down to actual compositions and melodies that seem to make sense that you're starting from scratch, understanding the basics is important. So I'm leading you guys into this process. So I created a personal loop through GarageBand and put that loop into the track. But let me silence this for now. Let me just write GarageBand on here. GarageBand loop. Let's just say loop. Okay. So we're going to take that for now and just re-listen to this track. And in fact, the track that you heard yesterday on the video in the background is the very track we are going to now add into this part, into this track. So we're now molding ideas together. I mean, I think it's important to see that ideas can come from anywhere. You can even, you know, record a sound of a bird chirping and use that for a track. Or record cans banging around. I'm not going to make all sorts of crazy noises here because we have neighbors. We live in an apartment, so I don't want to have anybody knock on the door. Excuse me, but don't you mind lowering the volume? Which would be my luck. I'd be like, oh great, they heard me. Again, for the 28th time. As long as we don't get kicked out. My parents sold my drum set when I was younger because we were making too much noise practicing in a band for metal. So they decided that that's what happened to my drum set. Is when I was younger, they decided that it was high time it disappeared after our first performance, even though we did fantastically, and that was screwed over. Too much noise, neighbors complained, and off went the drum set. So eventually I will get back into having my own drum set. It's gonna happen, folks. I have the beats and stuff here. We don't really need a drum set to make too much noise. You can create it on the computer or your phone. So let's listen to the track. Then I can even talk about how to set up a basic studio space. I built my soundproofing. I created my soundproofing. I studied fine arts and I studied furniture making, so I can talk through how to build things by yourself on your own with a low budget. So it's all possible. Yes, I'm here. I'm here to help you guys. Okay, let's go back to this. when I transferred the track, which I now call GarageBand loop in this over here, in the track that we have here, you can actually drag and send this straight into Logic Pro X. And if you do want individual parts, what you would have to do is GarageBand loops. You would have to kind of keep them separate and then send each individual section over. Now, there's some pretty cool things in there, so I wouldn't not use GarageBand, even though everybody's like, oh, it's like a young, it's not really a young person. It's for people who are interested in trying new things, and you can always travel with this GarageBand. If it's on your iPhone and your iPad, guarantee you can go outside, use a set of headphones. I actually have my Bluetooth headphones that I got, and I record, like I sit in a corner and I can just play around with the software for hours. Okay, now we're going to listen to it. So after I've transferred all this stuff and placed it into Logic Pro X, I have placed and made sure that the timing, this is why timing, like yesterday we were talking about not just timing, but we were also talking about key signatures. So make sure that the key signature you're using for GarageBand is the same as the key signature you're using for the stuff if you're going to transfer it like this into Logic Pro X. And then also make sure the tempo or the BPM is the same. So I know that the track that I did on my phone yesterday or the day before was yesterday, is 80 BPM, just like this. This is also 80 BPM. 80 beats per minute. Beats. So there's 80 BPM here. And then there's also 80 BPM on the other track. Okay, let's listen to it. So I've unsilenced it. I took the mute off. It was on mute now. I unmuted, which is the M that says there's an M there on Logic. We'll talk about all of these things later, but okay, this is the track. Let me know what you think. If you don't like it, say nay. If you like it, say yay, okay? Yeah. So I lowered the volume a little bit. Okay, yeah, so I don't want it to be overpowering. I don't want to overpower the track with the GarageBand loop that I created. If you want to hear the actual loop, you go ahead and listen to the video before this, because in the background is the very loop that we're using now to add into the Logic Pro X. So I don't want to have a long talk today. I just wanted to show you that GarageBand, it's free. It's free if you have an iPad. It has to be a newer version of an iPad. You can't be one of the first iPads. It needs to be more updated version, because the older one just doesn't allow you to do, doesn't allow you to do the things that you can do with it now. So you can get it on iPhone 12 Pro Max, iPhone 12, and then up. And then, if you go to the App Store, I'm using an iPad. If you go to the App Store, you can actually, it's free. Let me show you. Let's look for GarageBand. I already have it in here, but I just want to show you GarageBand for iPad. So there are a whole bunch of things you can use, but I do recommend GarageBand. There are many, many things you can do with it. There's GarageBand over there. Now we're going to open it because I already have it there. And they actually have pianos and keyboards and stuff on here. It's not going to be large and it's not going to be touch sensitive, but you can definitely use I'll show you here on, okay, so this is the keyboard. There are a couple of things we would have to do to get to the stage. Let's put the volume on. So say you want to practice, it's not going to be able to do two hands. You could probably try if you put GarageBand on your iPhone, or if you have two iPads. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Two iPads, you could probably have one for your left hand and one for the right hand. And then there are sections you can scroll it, or you can keep it stagnant. So in this case, you can scroll it. So if you can scroll it and then keep it in one position, you could probably have it on two iPads. And then they have things like guitars. I got these particular sounds from loops, but you can have a drum set. You see that? I'm going to swivel over. Live amp, you can place your guitar in there and plug it in. Audio, so if you have a mic, even I was going to test out a mic that's a Bluetooth mic. Hopefully it works. It's a Yamaha Bluetooth mic I'll start working on next. Violin strings, okay. So you can open each one of these. And even if you don't know how to play, like I'm not a guitar player, I can pick up the notes, but I cannot play it. You can, there are a couple of different ways to do this on guitar. So you can use the good old string format. See, so you can, there are a couple of things you can do here. And actually you can use this as your tune. If you have a guitar and you need to learn how to tune, this is a great way to tune it because this is accurate. You don't have to worry about stressing out about this going out of tune. The GarageBand guitar is definitely in tune. So you can tune your guitar with these two. Even if, yeah, you can compose pieces on here. Oh my gosh, you can do everything. So don't panic if you don't have a studio. Really don't. Like it's not a panic attack. We have the technology now to be able to do this right from iPads. If you have an iPad, if you don't have any of these, you can always use a piano and then just record. If you have like your phone, you can always record the sounds and test out how to manifest the vision on a basic level. But so I just wanted to show you. Okay, let's go into loops. It says loops over here. I was using the loops to experiment. And you see that each one of these creates a different loop. If you put them all together, it sounds sort of like this. Let's do, so it has these little arrows over here. You can always, okay, so let's not do that. Oops. You can turn those off individually. You can also play one of those at a time. Okay, and these will actually record for you. So I've been personally experimenting with GarageBand myself to see what the new process is, and guys, it's pretty, honestly, it's pretty cool. If I had that during the time I studied music in high school and yeah, when I was teaching and all that stuff, I would have used it a long time ago for like, but we didn't have iPads. There was no such thing as an iPad when I was in high school, let alone an iPhone. We didn't even have iPhones. There are ways to go around it, whether you have technology or not. There are definitely ways to go about doing this. And I know both angles. So I just wanted to give you a brief on what we did here. I'm going to just lower the volumes here of these parts. And we're going to play just this part of the track. Okay, you can adjust the volume as well. So this is what you heard in the back of the video that I did yesterday. Right off of GarageBand from my phone. So I edit all my videos on my phone and I use GarageBand for the background music. Many things you can do, guys. Many things you can do. Don't underestimate your phone. I promise you, it's fantastic. Okay, so this was just a brief little discussion. So there's a new layer that I've started working on for this song, but we'll talk about that later. I just wanted to introduce the GarageBand loop that we did yesterday, or that you heard yesterday on my video, and transfer that into the song. So there you have it, guys. That is today's video. Please like and subscribe. There are many, many more tips and tricks that I will be doing in Logic Pro X, GarageBand, on your phone, on your computer, on your iPad. And I learned on GarageBand. We just didn't use the iPad and iPhone. There was another software, as I said at the very beginning. I think one of the first videos that I did about production had everything to do with the original music software, which was called Music in 1960 something. If you go back to the very first video, you'll see, or you'll hear me talk like for maybe 18 to 20 minutes about the history of music production and where it all came from. So take a browse through that, and I'm walking you guys through the evolution of a track through each of these videos until we're finished. And if the song is successful, we can then put that on Spotify. So I'll walk you through Spotify and CD Baby and all that stuff. And since I have the ASCAP, I'll also walk you through how to put that into ASCAP. So, and we're working on the working project together. So you guys are watching me develop it and see if it makes sense. And if you guys are confused, just let me know and I will backtrack and just ask questions. Just ask away. I love questions and I love to answer the questions on the videos. I will do chord progressions next, but I thought maybe it'd be kind of interesting to bring up GarageBand because I think everybody's heard some of the tracks or some of the videos that I've done with backtracks, and that's on GarageBand. So I'm literally playing with both softwares. Okay, like and subscribe. Have a wonderful Memorial Day tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of the day.